Hi there, it's Professor Monty. Let's learn the substitution method to solve a system of equations. Okay, so I've written down the steps here to solve the system. The first step was we need to isolate one variable. Actually, if one variable is not isolated, I usually use the elimination method, which I'm going to link at the end of this. But if your teacher wants you to use the substitution method and one variable is not all by itself, that has to be your first step. Okay, the second step, plug the expression from one that we get, the other side of the equation, into the other equation. And I'll show you that as we do the example. Now solve for the remaining variable. You're only going to have one variable left at this point. And then plug the answer you get there into the other equation and solve for that other variable. Then just check your solution and write your answer as a point, x comma y. So let's do an example so I can show you what this means. So I've got this system of equations. The first equation is in standard form of a line. The second equation is already solved for y. And this is what I was saying up here. If you don't either have x equals something or y equals something, that has to be your first step. Again, I wrote it this way because if it's not in that order, I'm not going to use this method. Okay, so the second equation is already solved for one of the variables. Obviously, it's solved for y. So step 2 says take this side of the expression, plug it in for whichever variable it is, y in this case. So I'm just going to plug that instead of y, I'm going to plug in x minus 3. Let's see. So I come over here, I'm going to have 2x minus 3. It's not y anymore, it's x minus 3. And then equals 5. Notice this equation only has a single variable left. I'm going to solve for x. So I distribute here. I get 2x minus 3x plus 9 equals 5. Combine like terms here, negative x plus 9 equals 5. Subtract 9, negative x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 1, x equals 4. So the algebra part I did pretty quickly because I figure you can go through that, you can learn on your own. If you need to pause that to see, go ahead and do that. But now I've got one of the variables. Since I have one of the variables, I have x, all I need is y. This is already solved for y. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this value, plug it back in there for x, and then I'm going to get, oh, y equals 4 minus 3, or y equals 1. And that's going to be my answer, 4, 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my answer as a point. I'm going to check to make sure it works. And I'm not going to plug it in and write it out. We'll just do it in our heads. But if I plug in 4 and 1, I get 8 minus 3 equals 5. That works. And then over here, y1 equals 4 minus 3, which also works. Now, I suggest plugging it into both to make sure you have the right answer. If you're only going to plug it into one, though, don't plug it into this one where you found y. That'll only see if you made a mistake here. Plug it into the other equation, which is a little bit harder, but do that to make sure. Again, it's only a solution to the system if it satisfies both. So the wise idea would be to check both, but I'll leave that up to you. I love systems of equations because I know if it checks in both, I have the right answer.